think you should.
Welcome back to this week's episode of Whoscussion. We're going to be covering for Part B, Sins of the Fathers. What's really annoying about the name of this is it's the name of multiple Doctor Who comics.
Oh yeah.
So that was a bit annoying. And we'll be finishing it off with the Doctor's First 11. So I'm going to be covering Sins of the Father. This takes place directly after the events of Bad Blood. There's got bad blood. Bloody Harriet Skelly. Destry's had almost the life beat out of her by her very irate uncle, which was interesting. I still think there was kind of like a sort of left field thing for him, but I understand he was like, I gave you the universe and you betrayed me. But she kind of was like, you legit, that's the situation you saved me from, so what's wrong with you? Yeah. The doctor's put her in this healing chamber. They're on this satellite that's a hospital. It's meant to be like the hospital. The doctor had schematics on Destry's body because of the time that Izzy spent inside Destry's body.
Yep.
During the human factor, the Dalek factor story.
Yes.
When I hated everything about mankind for a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
That was a good story. You guys definitely picked it up.
Yeah,
It's the Oblivion comic. It's really good. So Destry's getting healed up. The doctor's hanging out with another doctor called Partho, I want to say. That's how you pronounce it.
Pathos? Dr. Partho.
Dr. Partho, yeah. I think that's how you say it. Anyway. The Doctor and Partho are having a chinwag about the operations of the satellite, the fact that there's a AI that helps maintain everything.
Who looks exactly like the bad computer from Tron.
Oh, yeah. I love the MCP. Sock. Yeah. You disappoint me, Sock.
He looks very much like
oh,
MCP.
Man. I've got both of them on Blu-ray. I'm going to have to rewatch them now. I'm like kind of a huge Tron fan. I've got the comic and the canon game. So I was just like, I might have a bit of an addiction here. But anyway, so the MCP, but the good version. So an MCP controlled by Tron maybe, is the AI that helps maintain it. The AI is fascinatingly enough not evil. And he's making sure things are going the way that they should be. And there turns out there's the nurse that's looking after Destry is actually an alien wearing a guise that looks like the nurse in question. And she decides to turn Destry into a living weapon using these drugs. But she messes with the wrong fish lady, that's for sure. So Destry goes completely bonkers, starts wailing on people. These space monkeys that can only survive in 0G.
Yes.
They break in. Turns out that the nurse was working for them. The Dr. Partho gets brutally killed, and the doctor's like, I need to go and sort this out. So him and Destry go to Bob. I believe that's the name of the computer. The computer is called Bob, right?
I think so, yeah.
The computer's called Bob. So they go see Bob. And I'm guessing it stands for something. I don't think it was ever outlined in the story. But if he's just called Bob, that's awesome. They turn up, and Destry goes, you messed with the wrong fish lady. And beats the crap out of this nurse. And I love how the doctor's like, this is weird. You beat the crap out of her, but she's got no bruises. And then he takes off her necklace, and he's like, oh, you messed her right up. I think she might actually be dead. So Destry pops on the necklace. It allows her to put on the guise of the nurse. These monkey 0G guys are like, hey, nurse, you're meant to be helping us out. Destry's like, yeah, no, I'm going to beat the crap out of you as well. Destry puts up a pretty good fight. The doctor, using the TARDIS, uses it as a ram to defeat some of these monkey space people, and then uses it as a center of gravity for the entire station, which brutally kills them all.
Yeah.
Like, there's a panel that shows this one of them, their head getting crushed.
Brutally kills one of them.
Yeah.
And it kills the one that Destry's fighting.
But
'Cause she's basically like thrown him against the ground, and like he's fallen like 8 stories effectively.
effectively, they can't survive in 0G, so I'm pretty certain they would all be dead,
Oh no,
but not as dead as that guy.
Were just designed to exist in 0G.
Oh right, okay.
But they're still monkey people, so they probably still have like the natural ability to stand on their feet.
Oh right, I see. So yeah, so that Destry mega kills that guy. Like mega death actually happened to this guy. That's a real status effect that was cast on him by Lady Unaleska. So the doctor's like, hey, and she's like, I know what you're gonna do. You're gonna take me back to Oblivion. And he's like, how about I just don't? Let's go on adventures instead. And she's like, that's awesome, Doctor. Thank you. And then she makes out with him. He's like, please just don't. Like, I know we made out when you're inside Izzy's body, and that was kind of awesome fan service, but don't. All right, not while you're a fish lady.
Yeah.
So
he's like, and stop doing that.
Yeah, he's like, stop, dude, come on. And she's like, but I think you're hot. It's like, great, but I'm Gallifreyan, so whatevs.
Yeah, pretty much.
We'll tell Daphne Ashbrook that. Oh. So the Doctor and her are going hurtling off into space. I thought this one was pretty great. It was really short, and the next stories that we're going to be covering is I think 90 pages. Wow. So looking forward to that. That one's called The Flood, and it doesn't involve Sergeant Major Johnson. So
suck.
Yeah, David Scully's in the background of every frame. That'd be great. So, just David Scully, just like, hey. Jen Taylor's in a couple of frames. That'd be pretty great. That would be pretty awesome. But what are your thoughts on Sins of the Father, Harris Guy?
I think it was interesting. It played on some very interesting concepts, like the fact that this race was like previously a terrible warmongering race, but became more peace loving, and eventually turned this space station into instead of a genetic development. What's the word? Facility. Yeah. They've turned it into a hospital, which makes sense because move from genetic development to hospital makes sense. Yeah, and the aliens that come to attack them are the monkey people were the ones that they'd actually like developed to pilot their missiles basically in zero gravity. So they were basically like kamikaze pilots that they'd genetically created to do that.
Which is pretty brutal.
Yeah, it's not good.
But I love that the Doctor's like, that happened hundreds of years ago. All the people that are alive right now had nothing to do with that fight. Like, well, we don't care. We're going to kill them. It's like, that's dumb. Now I'm going to defeat you. Right.
And just like that time where he like throws when he uses the TARDIS to like as like a javelin to kill him. It's like it's so great where he's like the frame where like the TARDIS is just like slamming into these guys and smushing him, and he's just like standing there like he's just thrown it, and it's just like you're being Superman right now.
that is an accurate description of events.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. It was I liked it. It was a good comic. It was very good. And yeah, Destry's turn of events, I guess, is quite interesting. Yeah, it's good.
Especially since she was going to kill Izzy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I want to swap bodies with you and then kill you. Then she gets Izzy's body and she's like, I can't control this at all. Why can't I see? Izzy actually wears glasses. Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, she has there's some good times there. Good times ahead by all. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to The Flood.
Yeah, I'm looking forward too. And then I think after that we're back into audios, I'm pretty certain. Which if we are, you get to meet Lucy, and I'm looking forward to you meeting her because I'm like, I don't think she's gonna rub you the right way for the first couple of stories.
I see.
Just because she's not as sharp as Charlie and Mary. Let's just put it that way. But I don't know. I would love to see how you approach Lucy Miller's. But anyway, after the story, guys, we're going to jump into our final story for this week. The Doctor's First 11, which you actually can't purchase anymore.
Oh.
So, So
Wow.
sorry, guys.
That's ruthless.
yeah,
You had to say that. Jeez.
I don't know if it's on their SoundCloud. I think it might be. Apparently, a lot of these short trips are now. So check out this SoundCloud. TARDIS Wiki unfortunately doesn't keep the short trips up to date, which is, I mean, like, you know, it is a free fan page, so I suppose I can't have a go at them, but I kind of want to, like.
Well, I think we should look. We should look on SoundCloud, see if it's there. If not, we'll see if there is a way for us to make that available
to make
people.
that available to people, because anyway,
Because
Harry Skelly,
it is an amazing story.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna
I
send it
agree.
right now.
So take us away, Harry Skelly.
So we're with the Fourth Doctor and Romana 1, not Romana 2. During the hunt for the key to time. Yeah. So there seems to be I'm not sure when this would have happened then, because the key to time is kind of like very fluid, so it's very interesting. But basically the Fourth Doctor and Romana are lost a lot of years in their search for the key to time, apparently, because they end up on a planet. I can't remember exactly what it's called actually, but they've basically come to do like
Relief effort.
Yeah, like a relief effort. Like the Doctor basically says this planet's probably been attacked by the Daleks, just because they casually just drop in and destroy worlds when they're feeling out of practice, which is really pretty ruthless. When they get there, they try to do some relief. They help. They build up some hospital stuff, do some supplies, and basically at some point Romana's just like, Doctor, these people, we can't really help them. They've reached a certain like point in I can't remember what the basis she uses, but it's like
there's an actual scale. It was a real life human came up with. I can't remember his name though.
Is it actually real though? It doesn't seem like it is. Where it's like because it's based on like sentient culture thing, where basically she says the entire culture is
so it is real. It's called the Kardashev scale.
The Kardashev scale. That's a little different though. That's for development. That's not necessarily for size. So sorry, the Kardashev scale is for size and technological development, whereas she uses some other thing. I don't. She may have said Kardashev at the same time, but she meant something else, where it's about how brutally they were just devastated, where there's no way for them to restore their culture due to that level of devastation that they've faced, is what she's saying basically. And the Doctor, being the Doctor, is kind of like, yeah, I don't really believe that, but at the same time, you're probably right. We should probably just leave. And the leader of this place that they're at, who's basically made himself leader at this point, basically comes over and is like, you guys aren't leaving. We still need you. And the Doctor's like, all right then. And they end up there for years, basically, because they refuse to let the Doctor and Romana leave. Because
they make it law as well.
Yeah, they literally make it a law. It gets passed down 3 generations of leader, that they are not allowed to leave.
Through harsh propaganda as well.
Yeah, through extremely harsh propaganda, like being the children are taught that these 2 people are evil and bad, and they must be kept here as prisoners, basically. Which is an interesting idea, because they're not being imprisoned. They're still being allowed to do their medical relief effort. So they're like head of hospitals over the city, doing like crazy like medical surgeries and stuff over the years. But yet everyone's being told that they're like big evil people. Like, it's a bit weird.
And even the people that click on that they're not, they're like, we have to believe you are, because it's our society.
Yeah, it's the law now, so we kind of have to continue doing that. But yeah, so initially with the first few years of this original leader, the Doctor decides that the Doctor basically manages to get them into playing cricket, as the Doctor does. Very Fifth Doctor even.
Which is what I was thinking, is that this event might be what caused him to don it. To
don the cricket outfit. Yeah, where he decides to get them to start picking up cricket. They realize pretty early on that after the bombardment that they suffered, they are literally afraid of the sky, which seems to stick in their culture for many of the generations that they're there. And they have an interesting thing about this, where like as they talk about every time they play the game, the commentator talks about what food was had while they were there as well. It's like, it felt real Douglas Adams when he did like this side note. This is what they ate, like fit into stuff. It was I liked it, but it was interesting. So eventually, after years and years of playing this, and years and years of doing this, I think it's like two full generations. Yeah. One of the leaders that gets assigned figures out that that the Doctor and Romana had been communicating together, because they'd also been stopped from being allowed to communicate properly to each other during this time. That he found out that the Doctor had actually been using Gallifreyan code in their scores and runs to communicate with Romana. It's just the most peculiar way, but it's absolutely a thing that the Doctor would do. And it seems kind of nonsensical, like when he starts saying it and the Doctor's not really reacting. You're just like, is this real? Did he actually do that? Like, because it seems like this guy's just going crazy about it. But it is. The Doctor's like, yeah, you're right. I was doing that. I'm like, oh, really?
Yeah, but the Doctor says that he got a lot of the information wrong, though.
He hadn't fully grasped it, because basically what the Doctor had said at the end, like within a couple of the last few games, the Doctor had basically said there is still hope, and then they just started playing the games normally, and this final game that this leader is now going to try and stop from happening because of this revelation that he's had. The Doctor throws a fast ball. The cricket, I'm not sure what the correct batsman hits it up into the sky, and everyone finally looks up for like the first time in a good couple of years, in 2 generations for them, and is filled with wonder and awe, and they've finally broken out of their terrible badness that's happened to them. And the Doctor and Romana are finally like, hey, you made it out. And the Romana's like, man, he really likes to prove me wrong, doesn't he? And this is why they like each other.
Romana.
Yeah. And the Doctor finally says to them, we'll finally take you somewhere. We'll finally let you get in the TARDIS and go. And the leader's like, yeah, this is probably the time where we finally actually don't even need you to take us anywhere. Yeah. As we finally realize that we're going to be all right. Yeah. This is quite a story.
Yeah.
It's about as long as like a normal short trip as well. Yeah. Well, the later ones. So it's got a lot more to it, and it's got a real substance to it, the story. Like, I feel like there's so much more that could be done with it, but at the same time, I think audio is the only proper way to do it. But I think having someone like take this idea of Doctor and of 2 Time Lords spending some time on another planet for a little while is quite interesting, because like they even like talk about like the Doctor and Romana look exactly the same as they did when they got there. Because they wouldn't age nearly as much by this point, but it's been like 3 generations of humanoids on this planet. Several of them.
Because their first leader grows elderly.
Yeah, he like grows elderly and dies, and the second one grows elderly and dies, and like they talk to the other players on their cricket team about how their grandparents were good at a particular thing.
Exactly.
It was pretty great. I really like that story. I liked it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. The first guy, he's such a bastard, and the
He
doctor's like,
really is.
if you could just chill out with me, and I could teach you how to make your society better. And he's like, I don't want to teach my society how to make me better. You're here, you can help us. I don't have to teach anybody anything. And the doctor's like, you don't get it. If you guys get skills off me, you don't need me anymore. And he's like, but do you know what's easier? If we just abuse you, that's way easier.
Yeah. And then like when he realizes that the Doctor and Romana don't age, he's just like, you know what? You can't outlive me either. I'm gonna tell everyone that you're bad.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna make
propaganda. That's
I'm gonna make it
so brutal.
Yeah,
it's so vicious, man. Because like, look at you. You look exactly the same as the time you first came here. Propaganda.
Yeah, he even kind of sounds like what's his name? So the voice that he puts on, because Stephen Critchlow, the reader of this, he's got fantastic he's the fantastic Fourth Doctor. First off. It's impeccable. Like the first time I heard it, I'm just like, is actually the Tom Baker like talking right now? Like,
exactly, man. It was amazing. Romana. Even he said perfect. Romana's name exactly how Tom Baker said it.
Yeah, it was perfect. Like it didn't, and it was seamless. Like. It definitely seemed like it was Tom Baker. And then the voice that he put on for the first leader guy sounded like our replacement First Doctor. Can't remember his name.
David Bradley?
David Bradley. He sounded very much like David Bradley. Like he's got a knack for voices, this guy. And he needs to
his Romana was quite good.
Yeah,
like, it was as effeminate as his voice would let him get. Yeah. But the way he said disappointment is how Mary Tam performed as Romana, the first one.
He had the same inflection as Mary Tam, just obviously not able to imitate her as effectively.
But imagine that, man. Oh my god, that'd been amazing. I agree this story could only really be represented in the audio format, but I think if we had have you ever watched the Doctor Who Puppets series?
No.
So it's a stop motion series, and it's all the puppets are all handmade.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that animation style with the audio over the top, I think it would work really well. I might actually put a link to the series in this week's description, just because it's fantastic. They did a Christmas special, and the 6th and 4th Doctor were found in a bakery.
Oh wow!
And I was like, that's such a good use of visual pun. I was just like, whoa.
Perfect.
As I was saying before, I feel like because Big Finish are actually quite good at handling retroactive continuity, because they try not to remove something from the story by adding something else that contradicts it. Whereas with this, I feel like, again, it is an event that may have led to the 5th Doctor adorning the cricket outfit, because he essentially created the Renaissance for this world. They broke out of their version of the Dark Age.
Kind of. I mean, it wasn't so much a Dark Age for them. It was just like they were so tormented by this act that happened to them that basically post-traumatic stress can not only affect individuals. It can they've done test studies on how it can affect just entire populations, like particularly with things like 9/11,
right?
That the New York, even people who weren't, who didn't feel the same effect as somebody who had, somebody in the building, the same sort of grief or anything like that. Even people who just were in the area when it happened, and people who have lived there since, have very similar post-traumatic stress, just because of the events that took place. Right. So imagine that on a scale of your entire planet was bombarded and millions of people died. Your entire civilization basically crumbled.
Yeah.
And you were so many of you were so frightful of this and so stressed out and traumatized by this that you couldn't even look at the sky anymore. And then for that, without the Doctor and Romana being there, I imagine that absolutely would have become their race, just stuck staring at the ground.
Yeah, they would have They would have just gone out of existence. Because the only reason that they were staying alive was because of Romana and the Doctor.
Yeah.
Because they weren't learning new skills. They were all just like, oh, these aliens can help us. Let's just get them to do it.
Pretty much.
Like, yeah, guys, but we're not slaves. Well, you are by law now, so have fun. Thanks, guys. Yeah. But yeah, this is a fantastic story. The delivery from Stephen Critchlow is phenomenal. Like, I think probably, I don't want to say the best, but from my recollection, I feel like his delivery is definitely in the better ones for the non-Doctor Who casts to come in and do. Someone who's not actually part of the cast to come in and perform roles. I think it's phenomenal, just otherworldly. Especially since, like, at first I thought it might have been John Croshaw. He's very, very famous for being a Tom Baker impersonator. He can actually do the first 7 Doctors.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like close your eyes and you're listening to all of them. But when I found out it wasn't him and it was like this other individual, I was just blown away by like the artistry of the voice talent that Big Finish pulls in to do these roles when Big Finish can't actually get the original actors. Just my hats off, man. That's phenomenal. Also, I have done some digging and you can actually get this story. It is free. It comes in the download for the Architects of History. It's a 7th Doctor main range adventure. It came out in 2014, I want to say.
Cool.
2010.
What a deal.
So it is $3, and you get an entire main range story that's full cast audio, and possibly one of the best short trips we've had.
Yeah, pretty much.
Alrighty, well, guys, with that out of the way.
Also, we're not supported by Big Finish at all.
I really, really, really would love to be supported by Big Finish. That would be great.
Yeah.
That would make my whole day. With that out of the way, guys, we'll catch you next week.
Yes, indeed.